Let us practice Tantric Chanting in order to meditate like a Jedi. So I'm behind the 8 ball at the moment. Bear with me while I scramble to open up a different document. Let's see, wrong document. Let's go over here to D and Dzogchen and C and chanting, year, month, bit. There we go. Now I can go over to visual aids and I can open up chanting tantric, and now we're on the same page. How cool is that? I'm really out of steam and I apologize. You guys deserve just dynamic practice. I'll give you what I got. That's all I can do. Hey, Papa, what's up? As the tip of our left index finger supports the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger, palms up in our lap, let us practice the energy work of bliss and letting go in such a manner that it feels as if the force itself is giving us a kiss upon the top of our head. To do this, we require neither blind faith nor visualization. The easiest and most efficient path is to simply chant the following 6 syllables: Lama, come to pay crown. 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 Let's practice this evening's first set of the awareness and letting go that is meditating like a Jedi, the 7th and 8th folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Our job is simple. Rather than exhaust the front of our brain and trigger our amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression, by actively focusing and actively analyzing, how much better it is to cooperate with both facets of our autonomic nervous system. Doing so calms our angry and aggressive amygdala and gently stimulates, gently stimulates our empathetic anterior cingulate gyrus. The easiest way to do that, to vulnerably and passively cooperate with our autonomic nervous system, is to silently and mentally recite the verb watch each time we feel air enter our nostrils, and silently and mentally recite the verb rest each time we feel air exit our nostrils. And we're not concentrating on our breath, we're simply using our breath as a metronome, the way, in a manner that might be done by a child studying a musical instrument in junior high. So every time we silently and mentally recite the verb watch, as we inhale, the middle bit of our spine, known as the sympathetic nervous system, automatically notices mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. Every time we silently and mentally recite the verb rest as we exhale, the top bit and the bottom bit of that same spinal cord, known as our parasympathetic nervous system, automatically physically relaxes and mentally releases to such a degree that that which we noticed during our previous inhalation fleetingly feels less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and even less graspable. So together, let us watch the antics of mind and relax into its non-graspable nature. Hey, Ruth, what's up? Good to see you. Let us take the tip of our left thumb and place it against the lowest crease of his little finger. This is what we do to keep track of which set we're on. We're on the first set right now, the first set of 16 inhalations. The 16 inhalations that we count on our right hand. Every time we inhale and silently and mentally recite watch, we advance our right thumb together. Having completed our first set of 16 inhalations, we can now advance our left thumb. There's got to be a better way of doing this. Up to the second set of creases. And let us remember to use the tip of our left index finger to simultaneously support the first knuckle at the base of our right index finger. Oh. um, so I'm fixing to chant, and if you want to chant along with me, this might be helpful. Let's practice holocron-like exercises of impermanence and interdependence, the first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. To everyone who's joining me on the Tube app, welcome aboard. If you see my face and you see the document I'm chanting from, then you are on the Tube app. Well done, you. Okay. Let us bring our experience of the circumstantial into the path of the wisdom of letting go. As we relax into our exhalation, these circumstances are lots we saw during our previous inhalation. Could feel as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light, that could delightfully absorb into this body or form. Into form, all lots melt. Let's bring our experience of the physical into the path of the wisdom of letting go. As we relax into our exhalation, these bodies or forms we felt during our previous inhalation could feel as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light, that could delightfully absorb into this communication or speech. Into speech, all forms melt. This is going to be a relatively brief practice tonight due to health reasons. I apologize for the inconvenience. Let us bring our experience of the interpersonal into the path of the wisdom of letting go. As we relax into our exhalation, the experience of the interpersonal speech or communication we heard during our previous inhalation could feel as impermanent and interdependent, as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light, that could delightfully absorb into this mind. So this is highly metaphoric, and I'd like to offer you some explanation. The chief way we perceive the interpersonal is through people's various acts of communication. There is verbal communication and there is nonverbal communication. Not just what someone says, but how they say it. The tone, timbre, texture, and volume of what they say. And also their body language, what they do with their body, what they do with their face, and how they use them to communicate directly and indirectly. So we're using communication, and we're using the word speech not only as a monosyllabic synonym of communication, but as a metaphor of communication. So when we talk about hearing the interpersonal, we're using the verb hear, or its past tense, heard, also figuratively. Now, you could look me in the eye and correctly say, that's a pain in the ass, and that's understandable. If those who are rigid have difficulty spotting figurative speech, and it causes them to concoct all these bizarre doctrines, why do humans persist in figurative speech? Because that is how we evolved. Perhaps you've heard me say many times that we have evolved to think symbolically. What could that mean? Consider, if you will, the Precambrian period, when our distant relatives lived under the sea. And basically, they could perceive food source, or they could perceive predators and act accordingly, automatically. In time, in addition to perception, they could begin recalling past perceptions and anticipating or imagining future perceptions. And that simple evolutionary change would create the line of falling dominoes-like effect that over a vast ocean of time could create us, mangy primates with great big brains. So perception, imagination, and recall are the three primary colors of which our central nervous system, from which our capacity to think, our capacity to perceive, emote, intend, reason, recall, and imagine all come from. Consequently, figurative language can communicate not just to our brain, but to our viscera. If you prefer Yiddish, to our spilkas, to our guts, on a way that is more profound than the most eloquent of speech can compare with. Into mind, all speech melts. In addition to bringing our experience of the mental into the path of the wisdom of letting go, in the next few moments, we're going to also explore the meaning of the metaphor of emptiness. As we relax into our exhalation, all the lucid perceiving, emoting, intending, thinking, recalling and imagining minds we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into our vast empty void. Like the illusion like the illusion of the infinite azure sky. On a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although could look tantalizing to the eye, could feel non-graspable to the hand. Into void, all minds melt. Going to skip ahead in the practice text. And practice the holocron exercises of love and letting go. Let's chant an explanation of this 10-syllable mantra. Oh, yes, I wanted to remember this real quick. Okay, quick like a bunny. 1, 2, copy. Whoopsie. Om symbolizes bringing to... Let's try this again. Om symbolizes bringing to mind. Tade symbolizes spiritual liberation. Tutade symbolizes physical liberation. Tude symbolizes blessing. Soha symbolizes the wish that all beings master such dynamic kindness. Let us bring our experience of the mental into the path of love, the second fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. May all minds of all beings know me as joyfully enlightened or Bodhi as the mind of a real or imagined Buddha symbolized by your Buddha. A real or imagined Buddha symbolized by a bija one-syllable seed mantra tam or tikle drop. Bodhi joy for all minds. So we come to our first of 4 exercises of mantra meditation, which, when practiced correctly, or the Tantra Mahamudra, I should say the Tantra Metta Shunyata Mahamudra, the union of love and letting go, the art of loving non-neurotically, divorcing ourselves from our destructive tendencies to be controlling. How do we do that? Easy. As we breathe in, we silently and mentally recite the 6-syllable synopsis, Bodhi joy for all minds. As we exhale, we do 2 things. We physically relax as best we can, while striving to chant the 10-syllable mantra 4 times per breath for a total of 4 breaths. Now, if this is your first rodeo, please give yourself permission to have a learning curve. It'll also be much easier if you join me on the Tube app. Om da de do da de do de suwa, Om da de do da de do de suwa, Om da de do da de do de suwa, Om da de do da de do de suwa. No, Virginia, our job is not to concentrate on love. Concentration is antithetical to peace and love. Our job is simple. The only loving thing we do during this exercise is silently and mentally recite the 6 syllables, Bodhi joy for all minds, that's enough. We don't need to wring our heart like a washcloth and force it to emote. Forget that noise. All you got to do is silently and mentally recite these words and it will gently stimulate the neural pathways that support empathy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. You don't need to emote or wish love during your exhalation. Nor do you need to perfectly pronounce or rapidly pronounce or beautifully sing the mantra. Our main goal is just to physically relax as best we can during the recitation. Do that, and you will be surprised by how quickly you master the Buddha's path. Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa. Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa. Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa. Let us bring our experience of the interpersonal into the path of love, the third fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. May all relationships, communication, or speech of all beings know be as peacefully loving as a real or imagined Buddhist speech or communication symbolized by this horizontal 10-syllable mantra. Peaceful love for all speech. Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa. Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa. Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa. Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa, Om Tare Duri Suwa. Let us bring our experience of the physical into the path of love, the fourth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. May all bodies or forms of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health depicted in Buddha's statuary of the blissful body of a Devi or Yadaman archetype of enlightenment such as Green Tara. Health beauty for all forms. Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa. Fourthly, and finally, we're going to bring our experience of the circumstantial into the path of love, the fifth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the safety, good fortune. Excuse me, let me try that again. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the safety, great fortune, or boon. As a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land or Valti. Great fortune for all lots. Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa, 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 Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa. As we feel our chest swell, let us silently and mentally recite the verb watch. As we feel our chest subtly sink, let us silently and mentally recite the verb rest. In our compassion may we long to free all beings from the toxic tyranny of ever. Hating, craving, and clinging, and metaphorically known as the three mental poisons. In our pragmatism may all liberation of all others be fueled by the three wish-fulfilling jewels of following the Buddha's example, applying his instructions, and cooperating with his students. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 11 and a quarter hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's first Tantric Chanting so we could meditate like a Jedi. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.